Hi guys, good morning. So our first lesson in business mathematics is all about reviewing fractions. So we're going to review your basic knowledge in dealing with fractions. So the objectives of today's lesson is you're going to demonstrate your understanding of fractions, you recall types of fractions, add fractions, subtract fractions, multiply fractions, and divide fraction. I know these are your lessons way back grade 5, grade 6, or even grade 4. So today we are going to recall everything. Okay, so fraction is a number in the form numerator over denominator or n over d. That is the definition of fraction. So fraction represents a part of a whole. So there is what you call a common fraction. It's otherwise called as vulgar fractions. There are three types of common fractions. We have proper fractions. This is a fraction, a type of fraction wherein it expresses amount less than a unit. And improper fraction is a type of fraction that expresses amount equal to a unit or greater than a unit. So example of improper fraction is 2 over 2. This is a fraction which expresses amount equal to a unit or 1 unit. Another example is 3 over 2. This improper fraction can be equal to a unit or it can be greater than a unit. So, in other words, as we learned before, that improper fraction is a fraction wherein the numerator is greater than the denominator. But today we learned that even the numerator and denominator are equal, then it's still improper fraction. Another type is the mixed number. So when we say mixed number, this consists of a whole number and a fraction. And try to look into the name of the fractional bar of a fraction that separates the numerator and denominator is called vinculum. Again, it is called vinculum. Okay, so we have here the denominator can never be equal to 0. Why? Because if we're going to divide, even in calculator, if we're going to divide any number divided by 0, the answer is error because it doesn't exist. Um, we have here a fraction with a numerator of 0 is equal to 0. So, if for example, 0 divided by uh, 4, that is always 0. So, any number where any fraction wherein the numerator is 0, the answer is always 0. But katong usa ganina kung ang denominator 0 dili na siya pwede kay kumbaga kung ato na siyang i-define, that is a very big number. Okay, so for example, we have here 1 over 1. The answer is 1, diba? So 1 divided by 1 is 1. Then 1 divided by 0.1, the answer is 10. Nakuha. Then 1 divided by 0.01, the answer is 100. Then 1 divided by 0.001, the answer is 1,000. Kung nakabantay mo class, wala pa tamo 0. Diba? Padung pa tamo 0. Take a look. So if kung nakabantay mo 1, 10, 100, 1,000, nakabantay mo padung si dako. So kung i-over na to ang any number, i-divide na to og 0, then that is a very big number wherein no calculator or no computer can ever compute that number. Did you get the point? So that is why it is very important that a fraction should not be, the denominator should not be equal to 0. Okay. So fraction. If the numerator is larger than the denominator, it is called an improper fraction. Okay. Find the improper fraction in here. Anybody? Okay. So, asa man ang inyong improper fraction, anak? So, the improper fraction is the second fraction. Okay, math with fractions. There are four basic fractions. We have, basic functions in dealing with fractions. Number one, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So, in other words, it's IMDAS. Commonly known na nato sa IMDAS. Okay, so let's start first with multiplication. So when we multiply, we're going to multiply the numerators and put in the numerator at the result. And so we have 7 over 8 times 4 over 9 equals 7 times 4. That is equal to 28. Then multiply the denominators and put in the denominator as a result. So we have 8 times 9 equals 72. So our answer is 28 over 72. So let's try it. 7 over 9 times 1 half. What's the answer? Okay, very good. 4 over 7 times 9 over 11. What's the answer? Okay, 4 times 9, that is, okay, then 7 times 11 is, yes, that's 36 over 17. Next, 7 over 5 times 1/3. The answer is, okay. How about 30 over 4 times 7 over 14? Yes, so that's how we're going to multiply fractions. Okay, you have here 210 over 56. These numbers get big, diba? Nakura siya kaayo. So if we're going to deal it with another functions, you are going to multiply or you're going to divide, whatever, then you are dealing with big numbers. So how we're going to deal with this? What if we need to multiply again? This 210 over 56. So let's make the fraction in the simplest term. So it will be easier for us to use in the next for example, we're going to multiply or divide or what. So we have to deal it in a simplest term. How? Okay. We have our answer ganina, 28 over 72. So divide by the greatest common factor. So but what is common factor? Okay, common factor. Okay, let us try to review what is a factor. So a factor is a number that can be divided into another number with no remainder. So for example, 8. 8 factors are 1, 2, 4, and 8. So for example, sa 1, 8 divided by 1 is 8. Sa 2, 8 divided by 2 is 4. Ang 4, 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Then 8, 8 divided by 8 equals 1. So ang ijang factor sa 8 is 1, 2, 4, and 8. Now, 3 is not a factor of 8 because 8 is not evenly divisible by 3. Kaya kung imo siyang i-divide og 3, ang answer 2, tapos napa siya'y remainder. With remainder, 8 divided by 3. So the answer is 2, the remainder 2. So yon. Now, a common factor is a factor that two numbers have in common. So for example, 7 is a factor of both 21 and 105. So it is common factor of the two. The greatest common factor is the largest factor that the two numbers share. So mo na siya greatest common factor or GCF. So let's go back to our simplification problem from before. So we have here, divide both numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor. Our example, we go back to 28 over 72. So factors of 28 are 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. Sa 72, the factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 48, and 72. So try to look into what are common to the numerator and the denominator. Again, what are the common factor of 28 and 72? Okay, so the common factor is 4. That's the greatest common factor is 4. Okay, so 28 divided by 4 is 7. And 72 divided by 4 is 18. So the simplest form of 28 over 72 is 7 over 18. Okay, did you get it? Very good. Now let's try to simplify. What is the simplified form of 3 over 9? Okay, very good. How about 7 over 21? Yes. How about the simplest form of 18 over 63? Okay. How about 24 over 84? Yes. How about 6 over 15? Okay. How about 78 over 114? Okay. So those are just few of the examples. Now let's proceed to division. So just like multiplication with one more step, you simply invert the second fraction and multiply. So we have here our example, 3 over 8 divided by 1/2. So what is the answer? So the procedure is, first you copy the first fraction, that's 3 over 8. Then you are going to, instead of writing divide, you write times. And then you invert the second fraction. So this becomes 1/2 will become 2 over 1. So the answer is, what's the answer? So after that, you proceed to multiplication. So you're going to multiply now. 3 times 2 is 6 and 8 times 1 is 8. So the answer is 6 over 8. Is that the final answer? No, you have to simplify. Okay, how you are going to simplify? Kay bawo na mo ganina. Okay, now let's divide. What's the answer of 7 over 9 divided by 1/2? Kung nakabantay mo class, pwede na siya og i-cross multiply. So 7 times 2 is 14. 9 times 1 is 9. So the answer is 14 over 9. Okay, how about this? 4 times 11 is 44. 7 times 9 is 63. So the answer is 44 over 63. How about this? 7 over 5 divided by 1/3. The answer is 21 over 5. How about this? 20 over 4 divided by 7 over 10. Okay, the answer is 50 over 7. Okay. Simplified na siya. Addition. To add to fraction, you must make sure that they have a common denominator. So, kung mag-add ka, ang imong gikinahanglan, makakita ang common denominator. Okay, so in our example, 3 over 8 plus 5 over 16. So, what is a common denominator? Sa po dahil ng common denominator? Common denominator is a number with which both of the denominators share at least one factor that is not the number 1. So we have here, for example, if the denominators are 4 and 7, then a common denominator is 28. So 28 share the factors 1, 2, and 4 with the number 4. And the factors 1 and 7 with the number 7. Okay? Let's go back to our simplification problem before. Okay. So to add two fractions, you must make sure they have a common denominator. So what can you multiply each fraction by to give the smallest common denominator? So we have here 3, 8 plus 5 over 16. So the smallest number that has both of these are as factor is 16. So 16 ang atong smallest number. So the least common denominator. So we have 8 goes to 16 two times. Then, we have here 3a times 2. I-multiply nimo kaduha. So, 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 2 is 16. So, naanatay 6 over 16. On ang usa, 5 over 16. So, 5 times 1, 1. 5 over 16. So, ang kahuman na ato na silang i-add. So, ang answer is, okay, the answer is, okay, 6 plus 5 is 11. And just copy now the least common denominator. So, manaman mo, once you have common denominator, you simply add the numerators. Okay. So, to subtract two fractions, they also must have a common denominator. So, what can you multiply its fraction by the given smallest common denominator? So, actually, the same ra siya klasa pag-add. Only nga, ang imo na gamiton ron, mag-subtract na ka. Sa example, smallest number na to kay 8 og 16 pareha ra ganina pero minus na lang atong gigamit kay nag-subtract naman ta. So same ra atong buhaton, you have to make this 8 become 16. So ang atong buhaton i-multiply ni nato siya nga fraction og 2. Sila both numerator and denominator. So 3 over 8 times 2 over 2 equals sa mo na to. And that gives you 6 over 16. So mo ning atong equation ron. Kahuman, ang katong usa nga 60 naman to daan, so just copy na lang or you simply imo gyapon i-multiply by 1. Actually maura na siya. Pwede ra siya kapihon. So once you copy that one, imo i-minus ang duha. Kahuman imo minus 6 minus 5 equals 1. Then just copy the denominator. Ana ra siya. Okay. So once you have a common denominator, you can now subtract the numerators. Sige. Let's try. What's the answer for 7 over 8 minus 1 half? Take note, dili sila pareha o denominator. Kung pareha pa, pwede na ka mag-subtract dayon. So, get the LCD. So, what's the answer? I'll give you time. Okay. Sige, be. Answer sa na tanan. And then, ato i-check. I-pause sa i-pause. Kaman nato ni i-check. Mana? Oh, sige. So, answer for the first box, 7 over 8 minus 1 half is? Okay. How about the second box? 9 over 16 minus 3/8. The answer is? Okay. 6 over 8 minus 1 half. The answer is? 5 over 4 minus 7 over 6. The answer is? Okay. Very good. Kasi naka-perfect. Let's move on. Another review on fraction. Again, a fraction has a numerator and a denominator. The denominator can never be equal to 0. Kaya sa may tabo, once ma-0 na ganing imong denominator, it means it is a very, very large number that no computer can ever compute. Or that is infinite number. Dako na siya nga number. Okay, you can multiply, divide, add, and subtract fraction. A common factor is a number that both denominators are evenly divisible by common number. Okay, a common denominator is a number that both the denominators share a factor with. Any question?